So I'm driving here, in this exact same spot, and from afar I see something on the asphalt in the right lane that looks like a garbage bag flapping in the wind. So I change lanes, and as I get closer, I see a head popping out and then some rollerblades. Turns out, it was a kid. What happened was, he was rollerblading on this bicycle path, then he fell and hurt himself. And the natural reaction when we fall and hurt ourselves is to roll in the fetus position, and that's what he did. It was towards the end of the summer, and he was wearing a very light summer jacket, one of those windbreakers made from a textile that is so light that when it flapped in the wind, from afar, it looked like a garbage bag. From the angle I was approaching, the only thing I could see before I saw his head and his skates was the coat itself, nothing else. So I stopped the car in a way that it was acting as a shield for both of us. I put the hazards on, and I went to see the kid to check if he was alright. In a normal situation, you can't stop the car just like that in the middle of the street, obviously, but in this case, it was the right thing to do. It's the same thing the police does when they're stopping someone. They position their cars to protect themselves. Fortunately, the kid was alright, just a bit hurt, but nothing serious. Now, I've been driving for more than 3 decades, and of all the unusual things I've seen in all those years, this is the one that freaked me out the most. I kept thinking, what if somebody couldn't change lanes because of traffic or something like that, and just thought, well, it's just a garbage bag after all. A few years before this happened, I was talking with someone who failed her exam because she hit a cardboard box. And the reason that the examiner gave her for why she failed was that there could have been a kid in that box. I found that absolutely ridiculous. A kid in a cardboard box is a bit far-fetched. But then when this happened, I thought about that story, and it was suddenly a bit less ridiculous. So what's the moral of this story? Well, always try to avoid those kinds of road hazards. Be it bags, bottles, cardboard boxes, piles of dead leaves in the autumn, water puddles, potholes, anything. Bags and boxes can contain metal shards or broken glass, which can cause flat tires, or they can contain something heavy, which can damage your vehicle, or they can get stuck under your vehicle. Water puddles can hide deep potholes, which can damage your wheels or even break them. If it's physical obstacles and you can't go around them while staying in your lane, just slow down gradually before stopping, then change lanes whenever you can do it safely. If it's potholes, they're towards the side of the lane and you can avoid them while staying in your lane, do so. If they're more towards the center of the lane and they're not too big, try to center them between your wheels as much as possible. If they're too big, then change lanes. But the key word here is safely. Don't brake or swerve too suddenly. Basically, don't make any kind of impulsive maneuver. The reason why I decided to start this series of videos is because I keep getting tons of comments like, I got my license a week ago, why am I still watching your videos? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy for you if you passed your exam. Of course I am. I make driving tutorials after all. So every time I read a comment from someone telling me they passed their exam, I'm happy for them, and I'm happy that my videos could have been a contributing factor. But something I've noticed in my many years of teaching driving, especially when driving courses were not mandatory here in Quebec, is that a lot of people would take driving courses more to learn how to pass the driving exam than to actually learn how to drive. Driving courses are mostly to learn how to drive. We all want to pass the exam on the first try, obviously, but passing the exam should be a side effect of having learned to drive well. The real learning starts after you got your license, when you start driving by yourself and you get to be involved in a gazillion different situations. So in this series of videos, I'll be showing not only some unusual situations that happened to me throughout the years, but also some of the mistakes I made when I was just starting out and how to avoid them. So stay tuned and see you soon.